Look, other Thais are like, who the heck is this foreign guy? Okay, so feeling my oats a little bit here. No, I'm scared. I want to attempt to talk about a subject that it's been on my mind to do for more than a year, and that is the class structure of Thailand. And I guess what I'll do is I'll that'll be a big backdrop through the whole thing. But what I'll center it on is as a senior retired foreign resident, what is sort of your status here? How do you kind of plug in? Because that would be helpful to know. Because since so many of us, and by that I mean the overwhelming majority, and at least 80% and maybe 90-some%, I don't know, but many of us struggle with this very different culture. And I'll compare everything to the Midwestern United States, where I'm from. That's the best reference I got. And we'll go from there. So the first thing that I would have to tell you is that this is a classed structure, and it's even more different than that, because where I'm from, it's not a class structure other than someone who's insanely wealthy or famous, which is a teeny tiny number. They get extra tailwind on things, but then that can quickly be brought back down to, hey, pal, you got no extra status, you can shove off. So there isn't really much class structure where I'm from. And I've seen all of that. I'm sure you have too. But here they have, there's a formal old school class that was technically, and I mean on just from a technical standpoint of, was it abandoned? Yes, it was abandoned. Do they still use it? Yes. Is it as though it was never abandoned? In my opinion, yes. Do you want trouble with any of those people? No. You're never going to see any of them. This one old school class way of doing it is by family bloodline, by family name. It's a big thing here. I suspect, and this is just Rob's suspicion, I suspect that that's kind of where the general feeling from every Thai man that I've ever known is that they're really uninterested in raising another man's male children. They don't want to raise anybody else's children, and we generally don't either. But they take particular exception to raising another man's male children because it is a rival bloodline, even if they're not part of the system, which very, very, very few people are. These old school class, high class people, that's a whole different league. They've got their 10, 20, 30 million baht estate somewhere, and they're going to marry only people that are of a certain class typically, and all that. And that's you're not going to see those people. The only time you might see somebody like that is when they pass you on the road, when they're flashing their headlights behind you from their brand new Mercedes or BMW, which costs quadruple what it does in the United States. And think of what that takes for a person with $1 here that's 1/30 of a dollar in the U.S., and they've went and bought a car that's 4 times the cost. That person's rich on a level, I mean, you have to really think about. So I get the heck out of the way. I had a man in a Mercedes flashing his headlights at me as I was riding my motorcycle in the correct lane, going in the lane the way I'm supposed to be going. He's in the wrong lane, coming head on at me, driving the wrong way. I got out of his way with no hand gestures and no animosity. Just don't need a problem with that guy. I recommend you do the same. You will rarely ever run across any of these people. They're not going to date you. Their daughters are not going to date you. If you ask them out by accident, they're going to laugh at you. So that's the one class. We got rid of that. That's got nothing to do with us being old, foreign, retired guys here. There's no amount of personality and nearly no amount of wealth and whatever else you could have had that brought from back in your home country that's going to get you into those social circles. Yeah. Now, on a rare basis, does it happen? I'm sure it does. I know, and I don't know where he falls in their class system, but Ed Calabow, he's a public figure, and I'm a fan, so I'm only going to say good things about him anyways, but he's roughly 70 years old, give or take. I'm not sure. He's the probably most famous musician in all of Thailand. He's like the Mick Jagger of Thailand or something. He's super, super famous. And his daughter just married a Western man who was very handsome. and probably very rich and probably speaks fluent Thai. I'm guessing on some of that, but I like my odds on those guesses. So I mean, there's some intermingling of upper and I said upper, not uppermost echelon ties with us, but man, that's rare. Okay, and that was a younger guy. If you come here as a guy in your 40s and you become a fluent speaker and you're still making big money by Western standards and you're living here, you're at a different status than I am. You're at a totally different level of desirability with the ladies and stuff than I'm gonna have. I do pretty good for a guy in his 60s. And that's where my pay grade ends. And that's where yours isn't even starting yet. So that's a whole different thing. Obviously, there'd be like the monarchy and the royal family, and above all of that, of course, but we're not even going to address any of that. Those are all incredibly awesome people, and they enjoy their own unique status as they should. And then there's these known family lines, and then you get to the very wealthy ties. And this is my impression as I see it. I could be wrong about some of this, and this is what some of my Thai friends have told me in private, and we're gonna get down to where kind of you fit in. We're still nowhere near where you fit in. You could insert the phrase from Brad Pitt from Moneyball. There's all this, and there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us. Yeah, we're going to get to that part in a minute. We're down with below the 50 feet of crap. Well, I'm kidding, but and then the next status is the true uber wealthy ties. They may or may not have any connection to some specific family name going back hundreds of years or whatever, but they drive one of those, a Mercedes that costs literally $1 million US, $500,000 US, and they're driving that around here. That's a long dollar. Think about that. That's like me going to Bahrain and then becoming wealthy by their standard. That's a very wealthy American, right? These very wealthy people, generally we don't mix with them much either. Generally not. Again, it can happen. This is a little more accessible if you yourself are very wealthy by Western standards. And again, and only it's going to happen if you look good, can observe the culture, and you're going to speak at some level. If all of those things aren't true, you're not going to be invited on much of any kind of a level into those social circles, in my opinion, other than special circumstances. There's 8 billion people on the planet, plenty of special circumstances to go around for everyone. But you get the idea. So again, and here's something I want you to know. This is familiar concept to about every martial arts guy. I'm going to go back to my martial arts experience a little bit because that's my first Eastern experience. This gives you an idea. And pretty much any guy that's into karate or jiu-jitsu or whatever, we're familiar with Eastern culture a little tiny bit because we all become mavens to a certain point. And it becomes pretty common knowledge that in most Eastern cultures, maybe all, that a man can have a status that is so high, that just does not exist in the West. And that's what I want you to know. That even a guy who is, as far as I know, some of the examples I've seen, no one said anything about them being from a specific family or anything. I'm quite confident that was not the case. And by other things about their life, I'm going to say that's not the case. I'm not going to give details. It's not appropriate. But I believe that some of these people that I've seen are just high status by wealth and wealth alone. And then obviously they're a big boss somewhere. That's how they got wealthy. And I've seen deference to them that's amazing. Like if they put out a religious or philosophical viewpoint, all the people around them will quickly adopt that viewpoint specifically. And I know for a fact from multiple conversations, again in private, there is a strong presumption of spiritual purity and very high morals and ethics and such. And there's a massive, I'm just saying, there's this massive tailwind that comes with this that you and I are not familiar with. So if you're here mingling around and farting around here, and maybe you've wandered on over to somewhere where you don't belong, be just particularly careful if you're engaging with people of potentially very high status, and that should generally be pretty obvious to you by their attire, by their vehicle, by their jewelry, by how their grooming standard will be even higher than a normal Thai grooming standard, which is quite high anyways. You get the idea where this is going. I might be getting a package, so I might take a break here. And you just don't want a problem. And these are, again, it's a very kind culture. It's extremely forgiving people. For the many times I've blundered and said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, nobody really got mad at me and nobody chewed me out. Yep, package, hang on. So I was talking about the general Grenjai and Jai-diness, to make up a word, of the Thai people, how they are very kind and considerate. And so for the many times I've screwed it up, no one's really gotten mad at me. And I'll tell you, if you are getting a negative vibe from people around you that you have screwed something up, your first assumption should be that you maybe have screwed up rather egregiously, and figure out what the heck you've done to get people visibly upset with you, because that's really rare. That's rare here. So if that's happened, just know that you may need to make some adjustments, and if not, deal with that situation that you maybe have created. Just know to do better next time. Generally, just doing better next time will work. Again, very forgiving people. If you've had a Thai girlfriend already, you notice that when they get angry, it doesn't last very long, and then all is forgiven, and they just kind of move on to the next thing. Unless you cheated on them, then they don't like that much. Let me tell you. So there's just by pure wealth and work status and such like that alone, a person can have a very high status, and you want to be respectful to that. I'm not going to go through it here because it's just too long. There are a couple of good videos on YouTube on how to do a Y, but generally as an older guy, you just kind of go down. You don't need to go way up here. It's kind of down here. Other people should be Ying you first, because like I'm 62, so only person I Y first is somebody older than 62. But since there's mandatory retirement at 60, everyone working is younger than me. Makes it easy. I wasn't super thrilled with turning 60, but it does make the whole Y thing pretty easy. And I let them do it first, and they do a bigger one if they're really being respectful and they know me, which is sweet, because when that happens in public, other Thais are like, who the heck is this foreign guy getting respect from us? I mean, that I can tell you, I get a visible, noticeable reaction from Thais around me. If I'm sitting at a restaurant and a person that knows me, a younger person, oh, Coon Robert, and they call me Coon Robert, Mr. Robert, and they're giving me a real good, proper Y. The other people are like, whoa, and feels kind of nice. Everybody likes being respected. I don't know what to tell you about that one. But anyway, and then the other thing about status will be, as I kind of alluded to just now, age and being a retired senior guy, kind of nice. You get, even if a guy screws it up and he's just wearing, he's dressed like crap and he's not groomed and he's not speaking and this and that and the other thing. If the other Thais around that guy don't want to, have a reputation for being impolite or whatever, they'll generally be at least somewhat respectful to that guy, because they're just being polite. And you've earned a certain amount of politeness by age, regardless of how well you act. As I go about my day, I generally ignore all this. You might think, oh, Rob is like some super tiptoeing around on eggshells all day. And nope. This isn't my culture. I'm not a Kontai. I'm not going to be. They don't expect me to be. In fact, they'd be offended if I tried. And I'm going to agree with them on that. And mostly they do their thing, and I do my thing. And I'm a very much doing my own thing kind of guy, and then if you feel that way, and as we get older, men get older, we tend to feel that way, then this will be easy for you. Generally, all of my Thai friends are very focused on their lives, which is speaking Thai, driving in Thailand, their Thai job, listening to Thai music, eating Thai food, going out for Thai dancing. Did you notice the theme yet? This is a monoculture. I'm from a melting pot culture in the U.S., and particularly in the Midwest, we have a lot of that. It's kind of like that here. It may not be a melting pot, but it almost in a way kind of functions like one, because they just leave everybody alone. Kind of to a point, because there are some people here that do make trouble, and they tend to let those people make quite a bit of trouble until when they step in and do something, they do something pretty black and white, pretty cut and dried, and it's done and it's over. I'd love to give you some examples. There's limits to what I want to say on air, but some groups here have come to take on the Thai police. Why anybody would think that's a good idea? I can't even fathom someone's thought process to thinking that that's a good idea, and it ended very poorly for every one of those people, I'll say. Famous story in the news only a few years ago, a handful of years ago, down at the Thai-Malaysian border, where nearly all the violence in Thailand occurs in that one little spot. I'm a generally fairly chipper guy. I talk on my channel. It's a vlog where I'm talking, but throughout the day, I speak very little. My whole day is pretty much in silence. And I think this is my outlet for talking, because this is almost all the talking I do. I mean, I'm chatting with Fawn, but even a Thai wife's kind of a quiet thing, and that's Thailand. That's just the Thai culture. But I can navigate throughout the day, and it's all easy for me. Strong recommend to do the language, because you meet good people. It's great for your brain. My short-term memory problems all went away, and I'm feeling better. I've still lost a step mentally. I'm not telling you I didn't, because I can tell I have, but it's not as it was to the point before where it was annoying, and now it's not annoying. Now, I wouldn't want to try and design and launch a new product right about now, but I don't work anymore. So I'm navigating my day, a little chit chat with people, a pleasant comment here or there, understand what they're saying, great, pay for my stuff, leave, go somewhere, sip my coffee, buy a snack, or if I buy a meal, typically half the meal at the restaurant, and I take half a Saigon Glotban, I put it in a box so I can take home, and I'll eat that at home that night, or usually the next day. I eat roughly the total of about one meal a day. I'm not a big food guy. It used to be fat. This is better. You can break yourself of any habit if you put your mind to it, I'm telling you. Now, I get sort of non-status. So on one hand, people will not be overtly disrespectful to me because I'm obviously some kind of senior guy. And I'm dressed politely. I even when it's 100, I typically wear long jeans. And I have like 5 pairs of jeans or 6 pairs of jeans, and like the McJeans brand here is just incredible. I will tell you, they should sponsor my channel, because I've never seen so much attention to detail put in a pair of flipping jeans. This is new to me. But I got stretchy ones, I got like dress ones, I got kind of the fake ratty ones, but still look cool, and they're only a little bit ratty, not too ratty, because the grunge thing isn't really generally a thing here, a little bit, but not too much, and probably not for a guy my age. Anyways, but I'm dressed nice, always have a nice shirt. It's either a really nice, some kind of high-end brand, nice fitted t-shirt, or it's almost always a shirt with a collar. And so people won't be disrespectful to me. And that's not the Thai way. Again, they're generally very polite people. So I don't really have any problems. I had one guy kind of annoying me yesterday. We were at a group function, not going to say what. And this one guy, he's kind of a dick. And Thai man, he's aware that I don't really care for him. He's just a big loudmouth, high drama, shouty, kind of obnoxious person, and he's just he decided it's appropriate to just be impolite and disrespectful to me. I went over, he was sitting down, made a minor joke at his expense, kind of gave him the little shoulder grab, and kind of just reminded him to behave a little bit. I don't want somebody crapping on me in public every time I see them. You can draw your own line with what you want to tolerate or not, and that's fine. I'm probably not very tolerant. There's reasons for that based on my experience and my life history up to this point, which I'm not going to go into, but I feel like I've kind of taken my share of disrespect for, let me check, my entire lifetime. So I'm probably slightly maybe guilty of having a chip on the shoulder with that. But I've put up with a lot from him already, quite frankly. Some people wouldn't have put up with that. Some people, and to some, if it's just him, I would maybe just ignore him, but he kind of recruits other people to make a thing of it. And then, no, we're not doing that. So I really haven't had hardly any problems here. And generally not from Thai people. Generally, that one guy, he's a really weird guy. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And I'm just kind of tired of it, I guess. But generally that doesn't happen here. And I'm also engaged fully with a fully immersed lifestyle. So I'm engaging with way more Thai people than you probably ever will, statistically on average. Oh, now, so who am I intermingling with? I should start with that. It's the kind of middle class and upper middle class working Thais. The typically highly educated, professional, rarer, much more rare and hard to get jobs and careers. They've got some money, some disposable income, but they work hard for it. Those are the people that I know. I know through most of them through phone. I have some friends of my own that I've met through either the language school or some cafe I frequent. It's run by a mixed couple, an Aussie man and a Thai woman. I get along with both of them. They're very, very nice people, and I enjoy talking with both of them. Things like that. I can't think of everybody, but you get the idea. And generally, I don't really, as a rule, don't engage much beyond, hey, how you doing? I'm paying for my thing. You have a nice day, and I won't go about my day. I generally don't stay and make a campsite anywhere. Even if I regularly go to a cafe, if I start going too often and everybody's getting a little more, asking a lot of personal questions, which I'm happy to be chatty and stuff, but to a point. But I've been in the past. I've been too open with myself and then with others, and then they use it against you. And no one here's probably looking to do that, but it's become a habit that I'm just going to not go against it based on solid experience. Definitely with Westerners here, don't do that. Definitely don't share a lot of information about yourself with other Westerners. Geez, Rob, you got a YouTube channel. I do, and I share a lot of things, but also notice what I don't share. There's a lot of things where, if you think about it, it looks like I'm sharing a lot. I'm sharing my opinion on things. But exactly where I was or who I was with or how that happened, don't see a lot of details on that, do you? And there's reasons for that. So those are the people I engage with. So they are much wealthier than your average Thai. Certainly you're wealthier person than the average person out here in the Isan region where I live, which is probably the poorest region in Thailand. People say that. It probably is. I can't say it for sure because I'm not going to take the time to research it for you. If you want to know that and the demographics, you can look that up and find that to your own satisfaction. It's fine. But my friends here, the people I interact with, are somewhat wealthy, the kind of upper middle class, whatever you want to call it, and generally have a new car, generally can afford the new car. So I call them upper middle class. That's how I would evaluate it. And they're all really good. Great language skills. The problem is they all speak 4 languages or 5 languages, and they mix them. So it can be challenging. But I did end up learning a couple words of Isan and more than a couple words of the Korat language. But just as they mix them in, it's interesting. You'll never keep up with these people linguistically. They're really gifted with language. So the boil down, I get the politeness and all that because of my age, and I get a whole different other level of respect that on average, you probably won't get because of my attire, my appearance, and my speaking the language to a level to where I can really talk with them. Am I completely fluent? No, absolutely I am not. But I can really speak with them. And so when they see that, I do get like an entire heaping giant additional level of respect and regard from them. That I will tell you. But other than that, after that, I see it as a hard stop. I'm not Thai. They got their Thai lives, and that's it. I think up to that point, I could easily delude myself into thinking I'm getting a lot more regard than I really am, and I think I'm really not. But I'm getting a lot of politeness and open respect around me as I move throughout my day, as I like to say, and that works for me. But other than that, I want to repeat, you're kind of like just like a person of non-status. You don't, obviously, I don't plug into their system on any of these levels. I don't plug into any of these because I'm not a Thai. And I think a system shades of politeness based on how you look and how you act, and then your speaking ability will boost that a bit, at least in terms of appearances. And then now the people closer to me in Fawn, then that becomes more real. Then I think that becomes more real. And I do get real respect from some people very, very close in Fawn's life. I can tell how they're acting with me. They refuse to take my money when it would help them. And they thank me to an open level, or they'll chew Fawn out when Fawn's been a little not maybe as respectful to me as she could have been under the culture strictly. And they're giving me full regard in the culture as though I were a Khon Thai. Now, that's only a very few people very close to Fawn. And that's an area where I don't think too many foreigners do get to go. I'll take a little pride in that. Can you do that? Yeah, sure you can. With a tiny little group like that, if you're really good to your wife and a couple of her friends and your family and you're really cool people and they respect you and you're not just money only to them and all that, and yeah, you're helping and everything, but you're also cool and respectful and a nice guy and all that and good habits, yeah, you could have the same thing as I do. And you don't have to be a near fluent speaker to do that either. But I think that's kind of how it works. To me, I guess the number one thing I think of when I think of the culture here is they're just so peaceful and letting me live my life. And nobody bothers me. Again, the problems you'll tend to have will be from other foreigners. I've had some weird friendships, relationships with other foreigners here that I've never had in the West. I mean, for crying out loud, I came here as a 57-year-old man, and I've never had some of the weird experiences which I have had more than a handful of already in the 4+ meager years I've lived here already. That's crazy. The Western guys here are nuts. That I will tell you. That's where all your problems will come from. Other than I've said before, like if you're dating a bar girl, you kind of did that one to yourself. Dating a massage, all that kind of stuff. Those are not really necessarily good. Is there a good lady? I'm sure there are some, but generally that's a recipe for disaster, not success. We all know that. But the foreigner thing is not so obvious like that. Some people pretend, which seems weird. They'll pretend to be nice to you, and then all they're trying to do is pump you for information to make you look bad, to then make themselves look better, which that seems like a really hollow life, but there's a lot of people living a very shallow existence, and a lot of them come here. That I will tell you. So anyways, kind of a weird rambling video. This probably didn't go the direction I was thinking it would. I'm going to put probably a ton of notes on the screen because I'm not sure what I've accomplished by talking. But there's kind of status in Thailand. This gives you a lay of the land. Again, very, very nice people. And generally, when you have a problem, you just move on, go to a different restaurant, go to a different table, and that's what I do. Just wanted to call out a special thank you to our channel members and everyone sending those super thanks. That's very kind of all of you. It's so nice here. I got nobody bothering me. I got no pressure. I'm gonna have another lovely day riding my motorcycle to learn Thai, and I want to wash my motorcycle today, and just organizing some stuff in the garage, and I want to watch a movie. So that's my day. Beautiful Friday night. About to take Fawn to the city to go sit down and have a nice dinner. We haven't had a nice dinner all week. Rough, poor me, I know. But rode my bike all week, every day, gorgeous weather. Just got a little minor custom work done on it that I really like. Got my cigar and drink table, little side table. Looks gorgeous in my library's just about done, I guess. A friend of mine gave me a beautiful giant vase. It's a really nice copper color. I like copper because it's my family came here, and not here, but to the U.S. as copper miners, so kind of always like copper. But the quiet life in the farm and in the rice farms. I took a nap, fell asleep on my couch in my library, which is always my intent every day, to have a nice nap. And it's just been a great week. Sweetheart, just want to say hi. So I'm just chilling on my new couch and in my library. Hang on, watching a YouTube video about cars, and then there's the rice field, and it's a beautiful, cool, breezy day. Really, really nice weather. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you've watched this far, please consider hitting like and subscribe.